Hey everyone, so today we're taking a look at my John Deere 2500E hybrid mower, and I don't think I featured this mower on my channel before, but I figured today would be a really good day to go over it and explain what some of the pros and cons are and see what my thoughts are on it. So first I want to go over the actual unit itself. So this is, of course, an older, well, I shouldn't say super old, but an older unit here. I actually, when I purchased my golf course, this was the main greens mower. When I purchased it and I switched it over to a tee and fringe mower when I got my new 2500B, but then I like the usability of this more, so I switched back over. So taking a look here at the engine bay, we'll see we got a Kawasaki engine here, very powerful. This and the 2500B application, there's more than enough power here with this Kawasaki engine. I want to say it puts out 24 horsepower, and it is definitely more than enough to get the job done for, what I have to do, which is essentially mow greens on it or with it. So, going over some pros here, the ergonomics of this machine are great. The seating position is awesome. Forward and reverse throttles right there, very easy. Your actual throttle right here, super easy. The engagement of the cutting units here, very, very simple. As you can see, just a wire that connects from here that goes down to there to engage the cutting units. And then there's a little sensor in there as well. And then to lower and raise the units, it's just this little joystick. So very similar to every other John Deere mowing unit out there. It's pretty simple, pretty easy to use. You got a little bit of storage right here. And of course, these units are electronically driven by these drivers right here. And this unit currently has the chassis and everything else with the unit currently has 2,400 hours on it. The engine has about 1,900 hours on it, as this one was replaced before as the original owner replaced the engine. I believe this unit was used from Hazeltine, I believe, out in the Twin Cities. So it was a good unit. I have my love-hate relationship with it. I love the ergonomics. I like how nice the cut is. I like these units here, these cutting units. They're pretty easy to work on. But other than that, there's been a lot of negatives. And I also like that there's the one thing I like about this mower the most over the 2500B is that when I had a hydraulic leak on my 2500B last year, at the end of the season, I decided to switch back to this unit because you don't have to worry about hydraulic fluid, which is great, leaking. So that's a really nice added luxury of this unit right here, that all you have to do is just connect and disconnect in order to, take the whole unit right off. It's very simple, very, very simple to do that. But moving over to some of the cons here, at the end of the day, I've got a lot more cons than pros. One thing I have to say here, I can always expect this unit to be out of service for about 3 weeks to a month out of each mowing season. And for me, with this unit, I have essentially April, May, June, July, August, and a little bit of September, maybe a little bit of October in there as well, because I do aeration in September. So then I move to my backup greens mower. So I don't get as much mowing out of this unit as I wish I would. And my backup is honestly more trustworthy than this unit right here. This year, it was out for about 3 weeks because of a starter issue. There was something that broke off the starter. I can't remember what it was. I believe this was the piece that broke. I can't remember where it came from. I had to have a mechanic look at it because the engine wouldn't turn over. I thought the engine was locked up, but it was just something to do with the starter. So that was an issue this year that took me out for about 3 weeks on it. Last year, there was an issue, I want to say, with the actual fan itself that needed to be replaced. So that took me out about 3 weeks. And then the previous year, there was an issue with the cable that took me out because I needed to take it to a certified John Deere dealer, turf dealer, which was a long ways away. So the second season I owned this, I had this, which took a long time just because the dealer was waiting for parts. There was also another issue that they had to fix, and I believe it was something to do with the motor mounts as well. So that was an issue that they needed to fix. The first year I owned the golf course, that was another issue with the cable. So the cable needed to replace the first year I owned the golf course. And there's been some other work done to it as well. I had a major overhaul here. Alternator needed to be replaced and some other stuff as well on the actual unit. So it's definitely costed me a lot of money, and it's definitely costed me every season so far. It's cost me time that I've needed to use a backup mower. So that's definitely a huge con of the machine right there. I remember one year I couldn't get it started, and I changed the fuel filter, and I don't know what the issue was there. That had to be replaced. As you could tell, I mean, I'm no mechanic by any means, but I'm able to backlap and do all the normal greasing and stuff like that on it. But when it comes to the engine, everything in here is so hard to work on that I physically don't have the tools, or I don't have the know-how to get in to every place I need to go in order to work on it. And they changed that with the 2500B. It's more usable, but everything with this this engine, how it's packaged, is terrible. It's just awful, really. So for a layman like me who doesn't know, how to work on the engine, I'm pretty much screwed because the packaging is just so bad. Even simple oil changes, the oil filter is tucked so far down deep in there that it makes it hard to do simple oil changes when the oil filter is, if you could see, right there. So really, I'm not fond on working on this. It's definitely caused issues, and it's not reliable. It's not reliable. Even though it has relatively low hours on the engine itself, it's just not very reliable when it comes to, a northern Wisconsin summer of mowing where it's not even close to 12 months out of the year. And that's why I have a decent backup in my older Ransoms with super low hours on it. But otherwise, I mean, the mower's been good. I did have, which I haven't fixed yet, I did have a little pin brake for the reverse. So the reverse doesn't work. I have to pull on the acceleration pedal to make it go backwards. Of course, the parking brake never worked whenever I bought the golf course. It never worked. So that's an issue with it right there. Occasionally these buckets, now these bucket designs are better than the newer 2500B with the quick adjust reels, but these buckets, they definitely, occasionally will fall off, especially the rear one. And I've had it where I've completely ran over the whole rear bucket before, and it's been shimmed inside between the exhaust and the bucket, or the tire. And I've had to essentially jack the back of the mower up in order to get the bucket from underneath it, which is a real pain in the butt. Also, I do have to say the height adjust on here, or the quick adjust, it isn't as accurate. Not quick adjust isn't as accurate as the quick adjust reels, but these reels have actually been pretty good. One thing I don't like about them is that they tend to gouge a little bit more than the quick adjust reels or even my ransom reels. And you can maybe see that on the screen. There's not a lot of undulation on the screen, so it may be a little bit tougher to see. But these well, there's a little bit. You can tell that I didn't do a cleanup round today either, but you could tell that these reels gouge a little bit more when you are turning compared to other reels that I have in my fleet. And I don't like that as much. But they do provide a good cut, and they get the job done, which is really nice. It's not the reel's fault, it's the roller's fault. It's the design and the layout of the actual unit itself. Otherwise, this is a good unit. I do enjoy using it. I just wish it was packaged a little bit better, and I wish the general service on it was a little bit easier. The gas gauge stopped working as well. That really has never worked since I bought the golf course. But otherwise, everything else seems to be working on it well, and it's a good unit for the most part, except the fact that I basically budget out every year, $3,000 or so, or $2,000 to have it worked on. So that's kind of a negative about it, and I'm out of service with it for about 3 weeks to a month every single year. Even on the low end, it's been about 2 weeks. So if you can, justify that, or if any of you guys watching have had a better experience than me, please leave it in the comments. But I will continue to keep this unit for a while. I mean, for the most part, it's been good. It definitely provides a good cut on my greens. Of course, the iPhone doesn't do a great job at showing, just how nice the greens are, but it gets the job done and does what it needs to do. So at the end of the day, I certainly wouldn't buy another one of these, and I wouldn't buy a 2500B. I would take my money and go to Toro. But for the time being, until that happens, which who knows, I may never switch to Toro, because this may be the unit that I use until I sell the golf course. It's gonna have to do, and it will do its job. So with that being said, guys, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, and take care.